Hey guys, welcome to Basement PC, where hardware hits different. With the potential pending lack of availability of SSDs, I guess, I thought I'd just pull out some of my hard drives and do some random benchmarks on them. So we have some rather interesting results here, to say the least. So what I did is the top number here is total throughput, reads, writes, and random IOPS, reads and writes. And then how the spindle speed, the size, and the year the drive was made. So, you'll with these laptop drives, we'll notice that, like look at this little 80 gig guy right here from 2008. Like it can't even do 60 megabytes a second. I mean, that's like flash drive speeds. I have flash drives faster than that, and that's a 7,200 RPM drive, and it's still that slow. And then you come up here to this 250, and it's a 54, and it's faster because drive geometry has a lot to do with speed. Generally, the larger the drive, or the more platters the drive has, or the denser the data is on the platters, the faster the drive is going to be. But wow, what a result here. This is just a little Toshiba 5400 RPM, 500 gig, 2013. 90% of laptops probably came with these little guys. Performance really isn't that bad. But as you can tell up here, the really nice Western Digital black, this is a really nice Western Digital black, and it's supposed to be a high performance drive. And you can see out of all of these drives, it has the highest IOPS, random IOPS. This one down here is a 160 gigabyte, 7,200 RPM drive, and you can see the IOPS is really good. It's 0.55. It's probably the second highest in here. It's even higher than this 5400, 500. Even though the throughput's really bad, it's, because it's a small drive, the throughput's not going to be very good. But these drives, these 7,200 RPM drives, even with the throughput that low, they're going to feel faster because of those small file write times. Like this drive is going to feel considerably faster than this drive, even though the total throughput number is not that much different. You're not going to tell the difference between 128 and 119. You're just not. But you are going to tell the difference between 0.5 and 0.68. Let's move on to the desktop drives here. This is just your standard Western Digital 250 gig from 2012, 7,200 RPM. Notice the random IOPS on this drive are actually slower than the Western Digital black laptop drive is. It's not going to feel particularly fast. It's 160 gigabyte brother. Notice the speeds are much slower because, again, drive geometry. Same drive, one platter versus two, and you see the difference it makes. This is an older 2009 model WD Green. These were really common in like Western Digital MyBook or whatever you call those USB drive enclosures. They're made to be low power. They only have 32 megs of cache. They're 5,400 RPM drives, and you can see they're really painfully slow. I don't even have much to say about this guy. I mean, this is slow. If you put this in a normal system and you tried to run Windows off of it, it would be almost unusable. Honestly, this by today's standards is also pretty much unusable. This is going to be laggy and slow and obnoxious, but you can make it through it. This right here, still laggy and slow, but this is probably the one that's going to be the most pleasurable experience to use. All right, I benchmarked I had an old Western Digital Velociraptor. These are 10,000 RPM drives, 2.5 inch, and notice the throughput numbers aren't anything real impressive, but the random IO is 0.75, and that's with this little bitty 80 gig drive. That's the fastest of any of these drives I've benchmarked. That's impressive. That's very impressive. This is a 3 terabyte HGST. You can buy these on Amazon for $35. They're great drives. They last forever. I've got some of these with 70, 80,000 hours on them. That's like 7 years. Like they really will last that long. They're awesome drives. They're cheap. Buy these guys right here. If you need cheap storage for your PC, this is the drive to buy. These things are excellent. They're very inexpensive. You can pick up a 3 terabyte one of these for about $35. They're kind of noisy. If you don't like noise, I wouldn't recommend them. But other than that, they're great. And the lifespan of this is going to be way beyond the lifespan of this. These are desktop drives, the blue drives. They're not really made for long-term storage or RAID arrays or anything like that. You can tell when you pick this guy up that it weighs about 4 times as much as this one does. I also benchmarked a Seagate 250 drive that's around the same age and era as the Western Digital. Notice the throughput's a little bit lower, but the random I/O is a little bit higher. So this drive is actually going to feel a little bit more responsive and be more more pleasurable to use than this one. Like, you can actually feel this, believe it or not. But yeah, guys, don't be afraid of mechanical storage. It's old technology, but it's still quite viable, especially when you can get drives like this for $35 and have 3 terabytes of storage. Notice how fast the throughput is. Some of the newer drives from like 2016 and up, they'll do 250 total throughput. I mean, that's half the throughput of a SATA SSD. And notice how fast the random IOPS is. It's the second fastest drive of the bunch other than the Velociraptor. This is literally as fast as this is. It's actually faster when you count the average of all of them. You could use this as a boot drive. It'd be, it's slow, but wouldn't be that bad, really. The only drives in this group that I would consider using as a boot drive, obviously this one, potentially this one, but this one, and this one are a pass. The rest of them, useless. Wouldn't even attempt it. So, boot drive, boot drive, boot drive. Okay for storage, okay for storage, okay for storage. But any of these other drives, when you're below 50 for random I/O, that's terrible. Like, it's really bad. And of course, some of these older laptop drives, how did we use this stuff back then, guys? I really just don't see how we did it. But I'll probably benchmark some more in the future, but that'll just give you guys an idea of what some of these drives are actually capable of and how fast they are, which ones to pick and which ones not to. You find this kind of stuff, you can find these drives for, $10 at a thrift store, or, you can pick these guys up cheap. But now you got a little bit of knowledge as to which ones to grab and which ones to not. Try to get one that's advanced format. Try to get one that's a high spindle speed. Try to get, stay away from these green drives. They're just, unless you're just using them in a USB enclosure, that's pretty much all they're good for. But, yep, some fun with mechanical hard drives. I'll probably make some more videos soon, but have fun. Keep those drives spinning.